Good morning, boys and girls. Today we're going to classify polynomials, and we're going to start by giving some definition. A term is separated by addition and subtraction signs. So an example, we could have anything as an example. We have -2, that could be a term. We could have 4x to the 5th, that could be a term. We could have -8x squared as a term. All of those could be terms. And the coefficient is the numerical part of a term. So for instance, in this example, our coefficient is simply 9, sorry, not 9x, just simply 9. And in this, the coefficient is 4. We don't consider the 3 because the 3 would be considered a constant. So our coefficient is the numerical part of the term, so that would just be 4. A constant is just that. It is a number without a variable. So in this case, our constant is 7, and in the bottom, our constant is simply 2. It's the part of the term without a variable. And a polynomial is a sum of terms. And we can classify those different ways. We can classify them by the degree, and we can classify them by the number of terms. So a polynomial consisting of one term is called a monomial. Mono means one. If it has two terms, we call it a binomial. If it has three terms, we call it a tri. So notice bi means 2, tri means 3. We kind of give us that. And if it has 4 or more terms, we simply call it a polynomial. All of these are polynomials, they're just special cases, but after we get to 4 or more, we no longer give them a special name. So a polynomial, this polynomial has 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. And so the first term is m cubed. It has a coefficient of 1. The coefficient of m squared is 8. The constant in this is 5. The variable is m. And the highest exponent would be the 3. So it's asking us to identify the terms and coefficients of each polynomial. So the number of terms are 2, and those terms are -2x squared and 100x. The coefficients are -2 and 100. The next one, the terms are x squared, 4x, and 3, and the coefficients are 1 and 4. Remember, we don't consider 3 a coefficient because it's a constant. In the next problem, the terms are 4m cubed, -2m squared, and 5. And then my coefficients would be 4 and -2. Because remember, the coefficients are just the coefficients, the numerical part of the term. So the degree of the term is determined by the highest exponent. So this polynomial has a degree of 1. This constant, a constant has a degree of 0, because we can write this as 4x to the 0 because anything raised to the 0 power is 1. The degree of a polynomial is its highest exponent. Now you have to make sure it's written in standard form in order to see that highest exponent. So for instance, in this example, we have 4, we have 3, 2, 1, and then 0. So the degree of this, we would say that this is a fourth degree. So we always want to write a polynomial in standard form, and standard form is from the highest degree to the lowest. Okay, so here's some examples that we are given down here. So this has a degree of, okay, this has a degree of 0 because it's a constant. The number of terms is 1, so we call this a monomial. This has a degree, the highest exponent is 1, so this has a degree of 1. When it has a degree of 1, it's called linear. The number of terms here is 1, so once again, it's a monomial. And the next one, again, we have a degree of 1, so it's linear. And the number of terms is 2, so because it has 2 terms, it's called a binomial. The highest degree on this one, because it has x squared, the highest degree is 2. The highest degree is 2. Sorry about that. And we call it quadratic when the highest degree is 2. And this would, the number of terms is 2, so this would also be considered a binomial. Okay, so here again, our highest degree is 2, so it's quadratic. The number of terms is 3, so it is a trinomial. The highest degree here is 3, so we call this a cubic. And the number of terms is 1, so it's a monomial. And this one, the highest degree, again, is 3, so it's cubic. And it has 2 terms, so it's a binomial. And finally, we have a fourth degree. The highest degree is 4. We call the fourth degree. We can also call this a quartic. And the number of terms in this case is 3, so it's a trinomial. And we could also have an example where we have, let's say, 4x to the 5th minus 3x squared plus x plus 2. So the highest degree here is 5. And so we have a special name for that one as well. It's called a quintic. The highest degree is 5, so it's quintic. The number of terms are 4, so we just call that a polynomial. And so what you're going to see is that when you're asked to when you're asked to classify these, you can say that this is a constant monomial, putting the 2 terms together. For this one, we would say that this is a linear binomial. So notice we're using both parts of the term. We could say that this is a quadratic trinomial. We could say that this is a cubic binomial. And this would be a quintic polynomial. So we're going to use both phrases to classify it. Okay? All right. So try the IXL on that. If you have any questions, let me know.